afternoon. This is race 11 of the 2021 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, presented by AximTrade. So this morning we witnessed such an exciting battle between all our drivers. There was action up and down the grid, and in the end it was James Kuai from Team Star Chase who took a dominant pole to flag victory ahead of Daniel Liu from Team Jepson. So these two drivers will again line up on the grid in first and second position, and we hope to see all our drivers battle for race victory this afternoon. 各位观众朋友，大家下午好！我们现在是从湖南株洲为大家带来2021年由 AximTrade 呈现的亚洲保时捷卡雷拉杯第11回合的比赛。那么今天上午第10回合的比赛呢，也是精彩纷呈，我们所有的车手都是放尽了全力去比拼。最后呢，是来自追星车队的小将愉快，最后是从杆位发车拿到了比赛的胜利。那么第2名呢，是来自捷成车队的小将陆文龙。那么这2位车手呢，也将在即将进行的第11回合比赛中呢，从杆位和第2位头排发车。那么如果你错过了今天上午的第10回合比赛呢，不要担心，我们马上呢就会放一段精彩的回放，让你来回顾一下我们上午比赛的精彩镜头。
Well, it is indeed a gorgeous afternoon. Welcome along. It's just after 3 o'clock here in Zhuzhou. I'm John Hindhoff to take you through the second of 3 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2021 presented by AximTrade races this weekend. Temperatures climbed up a little bit, but not too much. 20 in the air, 23 on the track. So a little bit more heat for the drivers, the engines, and of course the Michelin tyres to deal with. The cars are out, coming round to the grid, and we'll head down there as well. Here's Andrea.
Race 11 is about to get underway, and I'm here joined by the Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexander Gibbo. Good to see you, Alex. So we've just heard about the post-race invitational at Macau. So excited. Can you share with us a little bit more details about it?
Yeah, first of all, hello Andrea, hello everyone. Absolutely delighted with this news. We haven't been in Macau since 2013. Macau for us, it's a very iconic event in the region. So we are absolutely thrilled to go back there with the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia presented by AximTrade. It's going to be a great event with also the single-seater with the Formula 4 China, with the Macau GT Cup also. Hopefully we potentially have also some Porsche 911 GT3 are competing in the Macau GP. So very, very much looking forward to this great event.
Yeah, so are we. Really looking forward to it. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
That is an invitational non-championship race at Macau. So we still have today's race tomorrow, 3 more at the final event, and then we'll be off to Macau for that street race. 8 years since Porsche Carrera Cup has been there, and the 992s will be making their debut there, as indeed, of course, they are here at Zhuzhou. I think everybody's just about made it to the grid. Max Theiser coming through for Toro Racing, just picking his way through into his position on the grid, on the second row. And I'm just waiting for Eric Kwong to come round and Henry Kwong. I think they're just coming round into the back. So let's take the opportunity to nip down to James Yuquai.
We're here again with James. Another pole position. You sure you can make it a double this weekend?
Yeah, I think I'll try my best. I think the team has been working incredibly hard. So, yeah, just try not to make mistakes, and hopefully we can make it another pole to win.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Well, he certainly did that in the opener earlier today, this morning. The margin of victory, and uncharacteristically large for this championship, 7 seconds. Most of that coming, in fact all of that being built up after the intervention of the safety car at the end of the first lap. That punched everybody back together. Did get a good start, but the driver behind him, Toi Luet, was, I think, the quickest starter this time. Last time, rather. And for a moment, put some pressure on championship leader Daniel Liu Wenlong for Team Jebsen, who'll be starting on the front row. Championship position hasn't changed too much since this morning. And Daniel Liu Wenlong, even though he only came in second, still increased his lead. Andrea's worked her way back to row 3, where we have the Pro-Am pole.
包金龙，这也是我们这个周末的第2个杆位。然后上午你说到有胎压的问题，然后希望这个在下午的比赛中已经解决了。
对，已经解决了。然后我们刚刚也仔细检查了，希望这回合可以跟上前面的 Pro。
好呀，那祝你好运。So he just told me that the tire pressure issues that he encountered this morning has been resolved. So hopefully he can catch up to the front and actually make an exciting fight for himself and for the team. Okay, best of luck to him.
Yeah, I was hoping, Bao was hoping to get amongst the pro drivers. Finished, I think, a little further down than he was expecting, but still got the points and did a very good job in Pro-Am, and continues to lead the championship. In fact, the first 3 on the podium were the first 3 in the championship. So those gaps just easing out a little bit in Pro-Am. Another big point scoring weekend, of course, coming up with another triple header to end the season. And we have seen how costly a non-finish or an accident can be for championship contenders in any of the categories. 5-minute board is up at the front of the grid, and that gives us the chance, I think, to speak, I hope at least, as the safety car pulls off from the front of the field, to speak to the AM pole sitter. And Andrea, I can see Andrea just working her way down the grid. It's Eric Kwong, Kiddie World Racing, from Li Chia and Henry Kwong. Li Chia got a 5-second penalty in the first race, actually. Pushed him down to 3rd position in that AM category. Grid beginning to be cleared. The race will be 30 minutes or 17 laps. Let's head back down to Andrea.
Daniel, our championship leader, starting from P2 today like this morning. What are you going to do different this time to take the position, take the victory?
I mean, the win is always the goal here, but also got to think about the championship. So my closest rival is right behind me. So as long as I finish this race in front of him and extend my championship lead, that's the main goal. And whatever, if the win comes, that's just an extra. But yeah.
Great. Good luck.
And that's exactly what he did this morning. I thought it was a very measured drive from Daniel Liu Wenlong. Extended his lead from a measly 3 points this morning by coming ahead of Toy Yue, who finished off the podium. Team Jebsen, therefore, also extending their lead in the dealership championship. Now, of course, I say that. And where was BR Holdings this morning? Yeah, that is correct. Star Chase closing down on second place, and indeed Yi Kuai pulling back to under 20 points away from second position in the championship. All of those are my arithmetic and therefore very unofficial. Yes, maths was double period on a Friday afternoon when I was at school. Max Weiser not scoring points in the Toro car, but a doughty competitor, and very much in the first part of the race somebody to look out for. Hasn't been able to get the tyre life and the performance in the second half of the race. Ling Kong, our lap record holder now, with a 1:37.612 from this morning, which was 5 seconds faster than they were going in qualifying yesterday. So the track certainly rubbering in and also becoming more familiar to the teams and to the drivers, and that clearly having a major performance advantage, giving a major performance advantage through the course of the race. Engines are fired up. Just the one formation lap this afternoon. We had 2 this morning and therefore reduced the race by a lap, but we're on the full 17 laps or 30 minutes. That's around about 40 miles or 64 kilometres around this 2.3 mile, 3.7 kilometre circuit with 14 corners. The fastest PCC race lap is that 1:37.612 from Ling Kong this morning. Good overtaking spots around the back. Also down into turns 1 and 2. A little bit of, well, quite a lot of elevation changes. There's a couple of downhill braking areas, notably into turn 10, and we saw a few people locking up Michelin front tyres. Those Michelin Pilot Sports. Slick tyres again this afternoon. The headlights just beginning to be shown as we're moving into the later part of the afternoon, although the sun is still out. 20 degrees in the air, 23 on the track as we're off for the formation lap, and they'll get around this pretty quick. They were averaging some 86.5 miles an hour in race trim this morning for the laps, despite the fact there's some very slow corners 4 times down through the box. It is Yi Kuai that is on pole for Team Star Chase and half championship leader Daniel Liu Wenlong alongside him for Team Jebsen. Toy Louis second in the championship for Porsche Holding in the 86 on the inside of row 2 with Max Weiser for Toro Racing. Then it's Ling Hong, lap record holder here now, of course, we can say, for Meidong Racing in the number 12 on the inside of row 3 with Bao Yunlong from Team Shanghai Yonder on the outside of that third row. Liu Ye for BD Group and Zhou in the Maidong Racing number 68 car share row 4. 5, Nathan Liu Wenhu, who hit the wall at the very end of the race, coming towards the checkered flag, and actually lost the position, although did get categorised, did get the car pointing in the right direction. Min Hong for Toro Racing is in 10th position. Just outside the top 10, Absolute Bianier in new colours for him in the satin blue number 3. It's on the inside of row 6 from Li Chao, Porsche, Beijing Central and Golden Port driver in the number 9 car. Eric Kwong's on pole position for the AM category ahead of Li Chao for Silver Rocket in the 828. Henry Kwong, race winner this morning for Triple Ace Racing and on a bit of a roll at the moment. That's 5 out of 6 race wins for Henry, I think. 91 is joined by Jeffrey Tis in the Shanghai Pudong racing car. It's the 69. And Rampo, Ivory Bear Capital, listed at the back, did not get very far this morning in that number 88 car. Wasn't happy, got clouted at the first corner and didn't make it to turn number 2, and that is what brought out the Porsche safety car. So that's how they're lining up, and just as if to prove how quickly they do get round here, even at formation lap speed, reading through the 17 cars there, they're already doing their burnouts to warm up the Michelin tyres coming to the grid, and it therefore will be the bright orange Absolute Racing Run Team Star Chase car on pole position to driver's left, heading down to the first corner. Daniel Liu Wenlong, no doubt, mind on championship here, not racing Yu Kuai for the championship. Yu Kuai down in 3rd position in the championship standings at the moment, waiting for the green flag. The calm before the flat 6 storm. There's the green flag. Now wait for the engines to rise when the drivers see the lights come on. There they are. All 10 lights are on, and we are racing. And it's not a great start from the pole position. And here comes Toyue. He's got the jump on both of the front row men. That's exactly what Daniel Liu Wenlong did not want to do. And it looks like he's going to have to drop back into 3rd position. The Team Jepson white and blue car did not get the run off the line, and neither did the pole sitter in that bright orange number 99. And it's getting worse for the championship leader. Lin Kang also there in the GT silver and blue car, side by side as they head down into the middle part of the circuit. Turn 3, downhill braking area, now snaking through the fastest corner on the track before another hairpin, and there's a little bit of contact there. And the championship leader really in the thick of a battle that he does not want to be embroiled in at the moment. That white and blue Team Jepson car now has a little bit of breathing room from Lincoln, then the huge battle behind. Nice overtake there on the exit of the complex. Sitting further down that battle, 6th position at the moment, and here's the scrap for the lead. Toyue goes to the inside. Again, a tricky downhill braking area before a chicane, and the leading pair are slowing themselves up, and here comes the championship leader in the number 20 down the inside of the man that was on pole and regained 2nd position. So at the end of the first lap, it's going to be Toyue who leads it in the 86 from Daniel Liu Wenlong in 2nd place, then Yu Kuai. As they start the 2nd lap. Oh, and already a problem for Li Chao, the Porsche Beijing Central and Golden Port car, the all-silver machine. He's off at the side of the track and hasn't completed the first lap. 3-car scrap for 2nd place at the moment is Daniel Liu Wenlong, Yu Kuai and Lin Kong as well there. Behind them, here comes Max Weiser. Max Weiser goes through on Yu Kuai, but then steers out of the way. Now, That was interesting, and there's a touch there. And that is the checkerboard Porsche. Now, spun completely out of the action. Safety car's out. The safety car's out. That's why Max Weiser slowed down, because the safety car boards were out before he made that overtake. Now, does that mean then that that spinning car which I think was Leo, yeah, yes it was, the 22. Now will he be able to retake his position? Because effectively the race was neutralised before he was spun around. And I'm sure race control will be looking at that. Safety car just waiting for the field to come onto the front straight. So for the second time in a row, safety car out in the early running here. This is round 11 of the 2021 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, presented by AximTrade. Hello everybody, wherever you are in the world. As we head towards just after 3 here at Zhuzhou in the afternoon. One more race tomorrow. Again, that's the morning slot for that one, so set your reminders. Everybody's been pretty well behaved in the first 2 races, knowing, of course, they've got more racing and therefore more points to pick up. It's a relatively short gap before our next race. So let's see if we can unravel what happened at the start. Cracking start by Toy Louet, as I described in that first race as well, but this time he did manage to split the 2 front row starters and go to the front. For the first part of the lap, it looked as though it was Yu Kuai who was settling himself into second place. Ling Kong right in there as well for Meidong Racing. But it is now Daniel Lu Wenlong in second position in the white and blue Jebsen car, then the silver and blue Meidong Racing machine, then Team Star Chase, the number 99, then Max Weiser, who has dropped back into position ahead of Bao Long. Trying to see if Nathan Lu Wenhu went through. I think he did in the 911 numbered car. He should be in 7th position. Min Hong for the second Toro Racing machine, the 66 in 8th. She'll be Juan in the second Meidong car is in 9th, and Leo Ye for BD Group after the spin all the way down to 10th. Yang Ye also lost a couple of positions there as well in the Absolute Racing satin blue car, not his usual silver livery this weekend, but it does look the picture. He is behind Henry Kwong, who leads in the AM category. Bao Jinlong in 6th position, made those changes to tyre pressures after this morning's run, so already higher than he featured this morning. And he leads the Pro-Am category. So leaders in category, Henry Kwong in 11th for the AM class, championship leader by some margin. Bao Jinlong, also championship leader in Pro-Am, is at the front of that field. And Toy Louet in the lead of the race and therefore the overall championship runners. That's the driver in second at the moment, and he's clawing back a few points because the championship leader is right up his tailpipes behind the safety car. "30 minutes will come into play should it be necessary. If it looks like we're running out of time, I'll keep you in the loop of that. At the moment, I still think we can get the remainder of the full 17 laps, 64 kilometres or 40 miles that we were expecting. And the safety car, new 992 straight car, in beautiful Carrera white. And the lights are off, and therefore the cleaning and the warming of the Michelin tyres is underway by the drivers at the head of the field. So it will be Toi Lui who brings them to the line in a couple of corners' time. So the Porsche holding driver gets on it pretty early before the final corner, gets a lovely run through the last left-hander, and he's already a couple of Porsche 911s lengths ahead. So Toi Lui into turn 1 as we restart round number 11, back to green in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2021, presented by AximTrade. Really copybook restart by Toi Lui. Battle going on behind Nathan Liu Wenhu, going down the inside of Bao Xinlong. That's a pro driver on a pro-am, and he makes that look very easy indeed in that tricky downhill braking area to turn number 3, through the fast left-hand sweeper at turn 4. Now into the braking area for the tight right-hander at 5, the kink at 6, and another little dash where the flat 6 4-litre engine can use all of the 500 plus horsepower, and the leading pair just beginning to slide away gently from Li Kong from Meidong Racing in 3rd position in the silver and blue car. Then the pole sitter, Team Star Chase driver Yu Kuai. No big gaps being opened up as they were this morning. All big slide from the rear Michelin's there from Yu Kuai. Now, is he using up the performance too early on? He's lost a little bit of ground there coming through the chicane before the end of the lap. Just seemed to be a little bit aggressive on the throttle there, and that orange car was sliding from the rear end. Just coming up to round about the 3rd distance at the end of this lap, and into the pits. That is Eric Kwok, the Kiddie World Racing driver. That's our leader in the championship. Now, was that a drive-through? He's the leader in the AM Championship by a country mile. Now, if that's a drive-through, it's not so bad. He's got plenty of points in hand. Meantime, Yan Ye for Absolute Racing off the track with his new livery. Just a thought on Eric Kwong there. If that was a drive-through, he'll come back out and get some points. If that car's got a problem and he retires, then that is a much bigger story. So we must keep an eye on the timing screens and see if he comes past us on the start-finish line next time around. He has gone through pit out. He's gone through pit out, so that was presumably a drive-through for an infringement. Main time at the front of the field. Toi Lui, Daniel Liu Wenlong, locked together in battle. 3rd in the championship, leads 1st in the championship as they cross the line. Then a slight gap back to Ling Kang for Meidong Racing. 38.2, the best lap in this race. We did a 37.6 this morning. The leaders are tripping each other up. Meantime, Liu Ye fighting his way back after that bizarre spin when I think the safety car boards had just gone out. Caught 1 or 2 of the drivers, maybe unaware. Just tapped around and had to wait for the field to go by, and he's fighting his way back well. He's back up into 8th position. Coral Racing's Min Hong just being put to the sword there by Liu Ye, fighting his way through in the BD group number 22. That's the silver and black checker car. So Toi Lui is still leading at the moment from Daniel. They are battling, but they don't seem to be slowing each other up too much. I say that, and I think that Still half the race to go here at Zhuzhou. Maybe the fastest car now is Lincoln. Yes, 37.9, getting somewhere close to the lap record pace that he set this morning in our first race of the weekend here. So top four now together. This is more like it's 1.3 seconds separate the top four. At least it did when they went across the line. I suspect it's even closer than that now. And Max Weiser for Toro Racing's not too far back either. He's sliding his Toro Racing Porsche around with some verve. And he'll be on the back of the bright orange Team Star Chase Porsche Review quite very quickly indeed. Just doing enough to keep ahead as they turn right-handed into the first corner. This has been a great drive back by Leo Ye for BD Group, now in 7th position, and past Bajin Long last time around, the leader in Pro-Am. And here comes a dive down the inside and a big slide. Paul Sitter, Yu Kuai for a moment up into 3rd position. Ning Kong able to do the over and under, just let him slide by. Knew he wasn't going to make the apex of turn 3. Let him go by, cut back to the inside, reclaim 3rd position, and that has massively affected the gap between 2nd and the battle for 3rd. And here comes Max Weiser as well. 3-car group now. This is the battle pack. Oh, much better exit by the number 99 bright orange car of Yu Kuai. Couldn't turn it into a passing opportunity. Very frustrating when you've got a faster car here. You really have to plan and scheme to make those passing opportunities, to turn them from a potential for passing into a positional change. Problem is, if you start defending or having a bit of a scrap, it does cost you time here. The moment that you're not on the optimum line, it will cost you a lot of time. 1:37.4 for Leo Ye. That's a new lap record. 1:37.473 for the number 22 BT Group car. So that is a new lap record. Absolute run cars. Remember, that was the car that was spun around as the safety car boards came out, but he's fought his way from outside the top 10 back up into 6th position now, past Nathan Liu Wenhu last time around. Battle for 2nd and 3rd. Check that, 3rd and 4th still very much bubbling. And defensive driving now by Ning Kong for Meidong Racing. The 2 leaders, meantime, have just put their fastest laps of the race in, under 1:38 last time around for both Toi Lue and Daniel Liu Wenlong. And they are just stretching away a couple of seconds now and more. And still, Daniel on the flasher. And still, Yu Kuai trying the inside move at the bottom of the hill, and this time he overcooks it completely. Well, he had the warning the last time around, got in there. The back end of the car's been looking loose for a little while, and eventually, I'm afraid the laws of physics had to take over, and he just tried to take too much speed into that left-right flick at the bottom of the hill into turn 5. He'll be annoyed with himself there. He got himself in good position, and that's a pole position squandered there then by the winner of this morning's race. It will take something for him to come back from there. He's dropped all the way down to 6th position now. looked like he almost had it done. Down the hill into, actually it's a bit further around the track, isn't it? It's turn 12 and 11 and 12 there. Just couldn't keep the back end under that Porsche. So still fastest lap of the race then, the 1:37.4 to Leo Ye, who is trying to close down Max Wiese for 4th place. Closest battle on the track is at the front of the field. And again, fastest laps for them, at least last time around for the 2 leaders. Toi Yue with the 37.8, 37.7 for the chasing Daniel Liu Wenlong. Lee Kong now on his own in 3rd position for Meidong Racing. He crosses the line with Max Wiese, Leo Ye, now right with Wiese, and Yu Kuai starts the road back towards somewhere near the podium finishes. That is really going to put a dent in his points haul this weekend, which he'll be annoyed about because he had that maximum in the first race this morning. One more race to come tomorrow in the early morning slot, same time as our first round this morning. That will be round 12. This is round 11. Then there are 3 more races to come at the next event, and then we'll find out our champions. Toi Yue at the moment for Porsche Holding in that number 86 car. As it stands, clawing back a few points on Daniel Liu and Long for Team Jebsen. Toi Yue raced in the Carrera Cup Asia since 2016. His best championship was in 2019, the last time it ran, when he was 4th in the championship. No racing last year, but back with a bang in 2021 in the AximTrade Porsche Carrera Cup. New circuits, new cars, some feisty racing. Now, PD, Leo Ye, number 22 in the silver and checker car, right with Max Wiese. That's the battle for 4th and 5th, 6th. Yu Kuai, Paul Sitter, Team Star Chase winner this morning. He's just dropped away for a moment. Down to, I suppose, the scene of the crime for him. Leaders still pretty close together. Toi Yue is pulled out to a whole 0.7 of a second. So by no means making a break for it. Remember, the margin of victory this morning was 7 seconds, not 0.7, 7 seconds. So this is still, oh, big lock up there. Now, that was Ling Kong for Meidong Racing, the 3rd place driver, and he went very, very wide indeed. Now, is that the invitation that Max Wiese and Leo Ye need? They've certainly closed in, and they now can see a step on the podium, just a few metres ahead of them. Yu Kuai putting together a decent lap in his chase back. 1:37.5 last time around. Also Ling Kong at 1:37.5 as well. So we're getting down to lap record pace again as these drivers burn off some of the racing fuel. .37.540 last time around for Yu Kuai. 37.7 for Daniel Liu Wenlong, who just closes back in again by a 10th or so on the leader. How hard will Daniel push that blue and white Jebsen car? Yes, that's his championship challenger, but he's taking only a handful of points back. It's going to make it very tight in the championship by the time we come to tomorrow's race. I think at this stage you've got to think, haven't you, as the championship leader, it's better to come home with second position points than try a manoeuvre that's not on. Side by side for third, Lin Kong and the recovering Liu Ye. Yeah, in the checkerboard car. Will feel he should have been up with the leaders. Big defensive swing to the left-hand side by Lin Kong down to the bottom of the hill. Turn 11 and 12. Through the kink at 13 before coming through onto the final left-hander and on the start-finish straight. Well, that didn't work for Liu Ye. Have to find something else out. Find another chink in the armour of Lin Kong. Max Fischer dropping back to 5th position that last time around, having been overtaken by Liu Ye, so that was a good run for Liu, and almost got 2 positions on 1 lap, but not quite. In the classes, Bao Jinlong leads in Pro-Am from Zhuzhou. Min Hong in 3rd place there, and it is Henry Kwong for Triple Ace who's looking to make a double today. Another race victory for him. Closed the gap a little bit. Eric Kwong after the drive-through did resume, but he is now in 4th position in class, maintaining the battle for the last step of the podium once again. The side-by-side effort by Liu Ye, and he's got down to the inside for the next corner, but can't make that one. Dodges back to the right-hand side. This is very defensive driving by Lin Kong, and it's slowing them up. Weisse and Yu Kuai are coming back to them and at a pace. Leaders on to the 15th of 17 laps. And now a big gap, 5 seconds between the lead pair and the battle for the final podium spot, which is going to be 4 cars before the end of this lap, unless Liu Ye can complete a stunning drive back. Dropped down to the bottom of the top 10, gets a good run again, goes all the way to the outside for the next left-hander. Now he's going to try the over and under, but that's tough round here. And Max Fischer is coming. Now the flashing of the lights by Liu Ye for BD Group in the checkerboard and silver car. But this is for a podium position. Championship. 3rd and 4th here, and again it's side by side, but very respectful at the moment. Liu Ye will be getting frustrated. He's this time got the run to the inside. There's a little more of an overlap here. I'm not sure Lin Kong can close him out this time. Who's last of the late breakers? Well, they're pretty even actually. There was just enough overlap. How did they not touch there? Brilliant driving from both of these drivers. Fantastic stuff. Through turn 14, leaders are on their last lap. And the gap has grown to 7.5 seconds between the front 2 and the leading pair, and now a quartet of Porsche 992 Carrera Cup cars battling for the last step on the blocks. This is brilliant stuff. Zhuzhou delivering some great action here. Under a couple of miles to go, and here comes the big run down the inside at turn 3 for Yu Kuai. So he's back up a position to 5th. Remember, he was our pole starter, though. He wanted to be up 7.5 seconds up the road, battling with Toi Lue and Daniel Lu Wenlong, who are still 1st and 2nd and still separated by 3/4 of a second. But he might might pick up some tiny points here if Liu Ye and Lincoln get together. They've been very tidy to this point. Last lap, leaders coming round to the finish line. Oh, and there's the touch, excuse me, coming through. Little bit of a bump and run there from Liu Ye. If he decides to leave Porsche Cup Racing, he's got a future in stock cars there. That was a perfect little nudge to just move his opponent out of the way. Toyue will come through and win round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2021, presented by AximTrade. Daniel Liu Wenlong in second, and through in third, completing a quite brilliant drive back after being spun around himself, is Liu Ye for the BD group. Lincoln, I expect to be confirmed in fourth position. Now the stewards will have a look at that, I'm sure. But I've got to say, whatever the decision is, that was a great drive back by Liu Ye. Leader running off the track to pick up a bit of dirt. Make sure the ride heights are all okay. So the provisional results then. In the classes, Henry Kwong wins in 12th position overall in the AMCAS. In 8th overall, Ba Jinlong for Team Shanghai Yonda takes his second of the weekend. So that's 2 double victories for the 2 class winners. But at the front of the field, Toyue notches up his 3rd victory of the season, and that will squeeze him just a handful of points closer. It is going to be very close indeed when we do the arithmetic and work out where the fastest lap went as well. That could be important. Henry Kwong in the yellow, orange and black number 91 wins the AM category. I think the fastest lap, 37.405 is what it's gone down to, and that will be Liu Ye. So that is our new lap record, taking a couple of tenths out of Lincoln's time from this morning. Pit lane warning beeper, greeting second and third, Daniel Liu Wenlong and Liu Ye, and here is our round 11 winner, Toyue. Lovely drive. Rocket start, which gave him the platform from 3rd position on the grid. Looked like he'd been shot from the deck of an aircraft carrier and sped through the gap between the front row. After that, it was all about what was going on behind him. Never got away, never looked comfortable, couldn't relax. A lot of pressure, but he withstood that pressure. And Daniel Liu Wenlong in second. Looks a little bit disappointed. All of these results, of course, provisional and unofficial until the post-race scrutineering of driver and car. But as it stands at the moment, Toyue claws back some points and makes it a very interesting championship picture, with he and Daniel Liu Wenlong fighting it out neck and neck for the championship this year. Daniel in second, Liu Ye for BD Group in third. So the Porsche holding driver, number 86, taking 3rd victory on the season. Got a victory, 2 victories at Zhuzhou. The races, both of them. Now, once the debrief has been completed, see if we can get a word with our leader, our winner, should I say now. Andrea pushing her way through the crowd. Let's have a word with Toyue.
恭喜崔悦，这继珠海以来的又一次胜利。然后你今天的起步也是给我们留下了非常深刻的印象，给我们讲讲今天的比赛吧。
其实没有太多的，然后起步非常好，然后超越2台车，然后就一直保持自己的节奏。然后我的工程师车队给我的轮胎的胎压，我觉得非常棒，我觉得持续性非常好，到最后几圈还可以做出一个非常快的圈速，但是还是在比赛当中受到后面。Daniel 的很多的攻击还是有些压力的，然后稍许有些失误，但是我把车给安全的带回来了。
其实比赛期间的话，一直的话，你的在这个积分榜上的主要竞争对手陆文龙一直在压在你的，就是咬在你的身后，你怎么调整自己的心态的呢？
我其实没有太多看后面，但是我觉得他一直没有被甩开，所以说我觉得。大家应该非常接近，非常接近。所以说，在不犯错的情况下，可能Pro 和 Pro 的车手之间可能是没有太多的机会。
好的，谢谢 Sir。谢谢你。So Toyue just told me that he's very happy to take victory. He had a really good start, overtaking 2 cars right off the bat, and then just kept his lead. He said that, he made a few mistakes over the race, but managed to basically keep it on track and also keep Daniel at bay. And the team has done a fantastic job keeping the tire pressure at the perfect range. And then he managed to do some quick laps towards the end. So, congratulations to Toyue.
Very well judged race by Toyue, really using that rocket start to his best advantage and clocking up a 3rd win of this 2021 season. And that is going to make the championship so very close indeed. He started the weekend 3 points behind. He was 4th to Daniel 2nd in the first race, and now 1st to 2nd. It's going to be just a 1 or 2 points. It's got a Pro-Am win.
包金龙这个比赛周末的话目前是2战2胜的成绩啊。今天的比赛期间的话，感觉你的圈速什么的也是一直都是非常稳定的。跟我们讲一讲你今天的比赛情况吧。
对，圈速上来了，但是很可惜还是没有跟上前面的，但是我已经很努力了。前面的是有点快，所以说还需要做更多的工作，努力把这个圈速稍微提，因为现在的差距也不是在1秒之内，所以说还是通过努力可以争取回来的。所以说第3回合，因为我现在 Pro-Am 组别积分已经足够领先了，所以说接下来4个回合我肯定会 push 更多的。
好，那祝你好运。So Bao just told me that he had very steady pace throughout the race, but unfortunately he's feels like a little bit unhappy about still not being able to take the fight to the front runners. So still more work to be done over tonight, and then hopefully he'll push more tomorrow. And in terms of championship, he's actually amassed enough lead over the championship. So over the next 5 races, he will push hard. So we're so excited to see what he can do for us. 好，祝你好运 ，Best of luck. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and a bigger lead even than he came in this weekend. It was the biggest lead in the championship at 47. He's won both the races this weekend from Zhuzhou, who has finished 2nd in both races. So that gap has gone out with now just 4 races to go on the season. It's not quite mathematically safe yet, but he'd have to be very unlucky. Let's go to the AM winner with Andrea.
Henry, you made it 2 out of 2 this weekend. It was almost like a replica of this morning's race. Talk us through it.
I had a good start, and since I'm starting at the back, but at the front have incident, so I passed through all the car and keep my pace and bring it back home. It was a good weekend, good Saturday. Yep.
Good job, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 out of 2, both times having to avoid incident and accident ahead of him. And that's 2 wins for him, adding to his tally on the season. That is his 4th win in 5 races. And gives him 5 on the season. Toyota wins it from Danielou Wenlong, Liu Ye in 3rd position. Best of the Pro-Ams, Bajin Long from Zhou and Min Heng in 3rd position there. And Henry Kwong for Triple Ace Racing. Well, it's been a double ace so far this Saturday, ahead of Jeffrey Z, who doesn't score points there. So Li Jia in 2nd place and Eric Kwong down into 3rd of the point scorers in the AM category. Li Chao, whose Porsche, Beijing Central and Golden Port car did not score good points. Still waiting. Drivers just keeping us waiting for a moment. Wait to hear Andrea with the presentations. Bib looks happy enough though, Babendum, doesn't he? So he's quite pleased with himself actually. Presentation party coming to the podium area.
to the podium presentation for round 11 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2021 in Zhuzhou. We're now presenting the trophy for the AM class. Let's welcome in P3, number 828 Li Jia from Silver Rocket. In second position, number 69 Jeffrey Z from Team Shanghai Pudong and Weigao Chao 69 Racing. And our winner for the AM class, number 91 Herring Kwong from Triple Ace Racing. Now we're glad to welcome Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexander Gibert, 保时捷亚太赛车运动董事总经理纪伯安先生 to present the winner trophy. Now we're glad to invite General Manager of Top Speed, Mr. Davide De Gobi, 上海情速赛车策划有限公司总经理邓大伟先生 to present the second place trophy. Now we're glad to invite Michelin China Championship Manager Mr. Charles Chang, 米其林中国汽车运动经理常成先生 to present the third place trophy. And now let's take a group photo.
So the photographers getting their pictures.
And now the champagne.
So the AM drivers getting the honour of coming up onto the podium first for round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia presented by AximTrade. And as they clear the presentation area, the podium is reset. We'll get ready for our Pro-Am drivers. Pro-Ams this morning was Bao Jinlong from Zhou Biwan and Ming Heng. And I think, yeah, that's exactly the same podium as we had in the first race. So it'll be Toro Racing's Min Heng, who comes out first, Zhou Biwan for Meidong, and then Bao Jinlong Team Shanghai Honda. And even more impressive championship lead. The 47 points that Bao brought into this weekend is his prize at the close of Saturday's two races, with one to come tomorrow. Alexandra.
Now, let's invite the winners of round 11 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2021 in Zhuzhou for the Pro-Am class. Let's welcome in third position, number 66, Min Heng from Toro Racing. In second position, number 68, Zhou Bi Huang from Meidong Racing. And our winner, number 6, Bao Jinlong of Team Shanghai Honda. Now we're glad to invite Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexander Gibert, 保时捷亚太赛车运动董事总经理纪伯安先生 to present the winner trophy. Now we're glad to invite General Manager of Top Speed Shanghai, Mr. Davide De Gobi, 上海情速赛事策划有限公司总经理邓大伟先生 to present the second place trophy. Now we're glad to invite Michelin China Championship Manager Mr. Charles Chang, 米其林中国汽车运动经理常成先生 to present the third place trophy. Now let's take a group photo.
Photographers doing their thing.
And now the
everybody.
champagne.
Well, the Pro-Am drivers just a little tardy on the champagne. But they don't need a second invitation. Ba Jinlong taking his second win of the weekend and stretching his championship lead over Zhou Biwang, who came in second, and Min Hong third. That is the top three in the championship as they stood on the podium. Bian Ye not getting up to the podium at this weekend. Did have a win, Bian Ye, in the number 3 Absolute car, sporting that new blue livery this weekend. Won in Shanghai at the first race of that race weekend. Now, finally, from the front of the field, with a quick reminder that we'll be back at 10:15 Beijing time tomorrow, Sunday
Porsche
morning.
Carrera Cup Asia 2021 in Zhuzhou for the overall class. Let's welcome in P3, number 22 Liu Ye from BD Group. In second, number 20 Daniel Liu from Team Jepson. And our winner for the overall class, number 86 Cui Yue from Team Porsche Holding. And the dealer trophy winner is Porsche Holding. Now we're glad to invite Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexander Zhiber, 保时捷亚太赛车运动董事总经理季伯安先生 to present the winner trophy. Now we're glad to invite Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexander Zhiber, 保时捷亚太赛车运动董事总经理季伯安先生 to present the dealer trophy. Now we're glad to invite General Manager of Top Speed Shanghai, Mr. Davide De Garbi, 上海情愫赛事策划有限公司总经理邓大伟先生 to present the second place trophy. Now we're glad to invite Michelin China Championship Manager, Mr. Charles Chang, 米其林中国汽车运动经理常成先生 to present the third place trophy. Now let's take a group photo. And now the champagne.
Well, that is a podium that is going to close the championship for the overall right back up again. Daniel Liu Wenlong came in with a 3-point advantage, was 2 positions better off in the first race, but this time had to play second fiddle to Toyue, who wins round number 11. We'll be back at 10:15 Beijing time in the morning. Bye-bye.